What's cracking, guys? This is Bruce Madsen here, your host of the show of Metro Scout Fantasy Football. Today, we're going over the invites for this year's Combine. Very important for us in fantasy because this gives us a gauge of these players' athleticism. Of course, we have a good feel of what we've seen on tape, but the numbers actually help. When we're seeing these guys run on an even playing field, we can get some extra metrics out of that, size-adjusted speed score and everything else. Another thing, it's another activity for us to have in the off season. This year is pretty dry in February, March. It's a dead time when it comes to football stuff, so the Combine's something for us to look forward to. Another thing about the Combine, medicals get released on players from previous injuries and other things, so that's some data that could be coming our way. Player interviews, rumors, all kinds of stuff comes from Combine weekend. Again, it's just another data set that we have that we can hitch our wagon to and really use that for our approach for our rookie draft. That being said, let's see who got invited to this year's Combine. I have the list of players here pulled up on NFL.com by position. We're only going to go to the positions that matter for us. So defense, offensive line, we're just going to scroll over that. But quarterbacks, Jack Coe, Notre Dame, former Wisconsin Badger, Matt Corral, Mississippi. Interested to see how he'll look. Interested to see what he'll do at the Combine, considering he had that injury in the bowl game and whatnot, and how much he's willing to test. Dustin Crumb from Kent State. That guy's been a Debbie Dandy for a bit, like a deep level Debbie prospect. Caleb Ellaby from Western Michigan has been getting a lot of publicity in the draft community lately, so it's going to be interesting to see how he looks on an even playing field, even though it's just the Combine. I want to see how his stocks look going forward in draft season anyways. Sam Howe, I want to see what he runs. He ran at 18 miles per hour at the Senior Bowl in the game when he was running on some of those bootlegs. So I want to see what his 40 looks like. Cole Kelly, Derrick King from Miami, formerly from Houston as well. I liked watching him play in college. I get it. He doesn't have the NFL game in him, but he was fun to watch. It's going to be entertaining to see what he does at the Combine. E.J. Perry from Brown, Kenny Pickett from Pittsburgh. A lot of eyes are going to be on him. Brock Purdy will be there. He was a Debbie Dandy like a decade ago, it feels like, at least, from Iowa State. Desmond Ritter. Mobility's big time for his fantasy upside, so it's going to be interesting to see what he runs. Carson Strong. His 40 time, if he runs the 40, some of these guys may not, but considering he has had knee issues, but if he runs the 40, it's going to be interesting to see what he runs because he's considered a statue. Skylar Thompson from Kansas State. Malik Willis is the guy to watch for in this year's draft at quarterback because he's been shooting through the roof as of late, especially after the Senior Bowl. Bailey Zapp from Western Kentucky. The running backs is what we're really going to be looking at here at the Combine, especially for the 40 times, that size-adjusted speed. Again, we want to see the lateral agility on the 3-cone, and then the vertical. It gives us a good gauge on the burst. Tyler Algiere from BYU is going to be there. If he tests well, we're going to see him get a bump in value. There's a lot of these mid-tier running backs that will get a bump in value if they test well. That's just understandable. I want to see what Tyler Beatty does from Missouri. Max Borge. Oh, that was a Debbie Dandy from a long, long time ago. Is drawing Christian McCaffrey comps because he was catching the ball so much in the early stages of his career, and then he just fell off. So I doubt he regains any steam, but it's just funny to see the name. Kennedy Brooks had some production at Oklahoma, really off and on career there. Leedy Brown from West Virginia. A lot of people were on the Leedy Brown going into the 2021 season. A lot of draft nerds was talking him up, showcasing his film on social media. Had some games this year and was all right. Ty Chandler could be a sleeper in drafts. Moves laterally well. Was from Tennessee. Went to North Carolina. Upped his production this season. Could be all right. Snoop Connor is another prospect. A Debbie guy that really did not take that next step in his development. James Cook. A lot of people's been talking about him over the offseason as he could be a guy that could get higher draft capital than expected. But on the flip side, or on the contrary, I can say that for a lot of other running backs too. Jashaun Corbin from Florida State could be another sleeper. He's got some burst, got some wiggle. It's going to be interesting to see what he runs. This could be the time for him to increase his draft stock. Ty Davis Price from LSU is a player that's being slept on. He's got some wiggle burst. He's not expected to be a high-end draft pick, but this is his time to shine. Some of these players, this is when they really need to sell out. They really need to go off to get noticed for draft day. Jaren Ely is another under-the-radar guy that a lot of people are interested in. Big-time recruit coming out of high school. A lot of people are on to him. Catches the ball in the backfield. He's got a little wiggle, got a little burst, got a little bit of everything. He's got to put it together. Treston Ebner from Baylor. We got Jerome Ford. I like Jerome Ford. Big recruit. Went to Alabama. Transferred to Cincy. Made it all count this year. Tyler Goodson from Iowa. Smaller back. Doesn't have the speed to go with it. It's going to be interesting to see how he runs because he needs to run a good 40 here. His tape doesn't show good speed, elite speed, but he needs to make up for that at the combine. I like his pass catching ability. I like his wiggle. I like his ability to run. I feel like he can be a good late pick to be a body on the depth chart for a team and maybe work his way up. But he really needs to improve his stock on combine day. Breece Hall, size adjusted speed's going to be there for him. I think when everything's graded out, I think he's going to have a good size adjusted speed score. Kevin Harris, a lot of people who subscribe to the channel like to talk up Kevin Harris. They want me to talk him up a little bit. I'm interested to see what he does at the combine. I'm not sleeping on him. Hassan Haskins, big game against Ohio State. Another running back with good size. Hassan Haskins can earn some money here at the combine. Keontae Ingram is a running back I'm interested, formerly from Texas. USC guy, got some wiggle. Could be a sleeper in this year's draft. Pegged as a late rounder. Maybe he can make some money on draft day. Moving down here to Sincere McCormick. Another running back that could make some money here at the combine. Had a good career at UTSA. Been watching him for quite some time. Dameon Pierce had a good Senior Bowl. Runs with a lot of power, runs angry. If he can have a good combine, showcase some athleticism, that's going to help him immensely. Devonte Price is another running back from Florida International that you want to pay attention to. Brian Robinson, he could surprise us in some of these activities and some of these drills. Especially, I would think like the 3-cone maybe. Because he's going to weigh in around 228, 230, around the 230 range. I wouldn't be surprised if he drops a few pounds just to run a little faster. If he comes in like 225 compared to 228 at the Senior Bowl, that would make sense. Abram Smith from Baylor. A lot of people are expecting him to run good this year. Isaiah Spiller's another running back everyone's got their eye on. Pierre Strong's and a small school back that a lot of people are talking up. Kenny Walker is what they got here. So Kenny Walker here. A lot of people are talking about how when they watch him on tape that he doesn't have much pop in his step, that he doesn't have the long speed. This is a time for him to kind of prove those doubters wrong. If he can really showcase himself at the combine, that could really help him out immensely. Rashad White here, pass catching specialist. Again, a combine is going to help him. Zamir White is a running back. I'm highly interested in him. Old Zeus, baby. He runs with some pop still, and he's got some speed, even though he had those knee injuries. I feel like he can surprise some people, especially once he gets at the NFL level. Zaquandre White's one of my favorite running backs. Young running back that can really be a sleeper this year. And, of course, Kyron Williams. He runs with some speed, some burst, some wiggle in the second level. Let's look at the wide receivers who's going to be at the combine. Calvin Austin from Memphis, measuring like 5'7" at the Senior Bowl. So we'll see how that works out. But usually if you're measuring in that range, it's not a great outcome for you at the next level. Kevin Austin from Notre Dame. David Bell. A lot of people were skeptical on his athleticism. I watched the tape, and you know what? I don't see a burner. Of course, you don't see burner, but I don't see a guy as a sloth either. So I think he's just going to be very respectable at the combine, and he's not going to blow it up, but he's not going to lose it either. Slade Bolden from Alabama. Treylon Burks, size adjusted speed for days. If he runs well, weighing at like 225 to 230, that's going to be fun to watch. Johann Dotson, rumor at the Senior Bowl is he left early and he is around 5'9". I don't know if that's true or not, but I want to see where he measures in at. That's what I'm most interested in, is his height. And I'm guessing he's higher than 5'9", but I don't know. Romeo Dowds from Nevada. I've been kind of on him as like a sleeper. Dontae Drummond, old wide receiver. He's like 25 years old. He's closer than 30 than he is when he was coming out of high school. So I don't know. I'm all out on him. Eric Ezukanma, sleeper wide receiver prospect who could be a surprise late round pick UDFA guy. Trifogle from Indiana. Not on to him at all. Got another. I want to see Drake London. I don't know if he'll run or not. We'll see. But coming back from the injury, he might just want to just do the interviews or whatnot. But we'll see what he does. Bo Melton was at the Senior Bowl. John Mechie coming from the ACL. We'll see where he's at. At least we'll get the medical reports on these guys like Drake London, John Mechie, Jameson Williams, Sky Moore from Western Michigan. Runs fast, short area quickness. I like to see what he does at the combine, along with Chris Olave. George Pickens as well. I wonder if he'll compete in all the drills or if he'll just do the medicals, do the interviews due to what he's been experiencing with the knee injury as of late. Even though he came back and play, he may not want to take the risk. He may want to just say, hey, I got the tape. Go look at it. I'm good. Or he may want to just cap it all off with a good combine. Alec Pierce got some size-adjusted athleticism, so it's going to be interesting to see what he does. Wan'Dale Robinson's got speed to burn. I wonder if he'll blow up the combine. Justin Ross, this is going to be very interesting for us to see what he does because, honestly, he had a decent career at Clemson. If you take away those last 2 years, the injury, Clemson's offense was wrecked in 2021. Still had a good market share, over 20% share of their passing production. Justin Ross is a prospect I'm highly interested in. Khalil Shakir, Boise State here, makes some amazing catches. Some good ball skills. Can get downfield. I want to see what he runs as well. Moving down here, I'm not going to skip over Jalen Tolbert. I was very interested in him at the Senior Bowl. I'm still very interested in him. Draft. This combine is going to be very important. But Kristen Watson, everybody was talking him up after the Senior Bowl. Size-adjusted speed is going to be there if he runs well. And he's going to be a big riser if he kills the combine because he was a big riser from the Senior Bowl. This would just stack on top of that. Jameson Williams, we may get some news on some medicals. Garrett Wilson, again, combine. It's going to be important, but I think no matter what, even if he doesn't run anything, it's not really going to impact his stock at all. Move down to the tight ends. This is not a sexy tight end draft. I'm just going to watch the whole group, really, and I'm just going to see who runs well, who has the size-adjusted athleticism, and really watch their draft capital and where they go. A guy that I have in a lot of Devy leagues over the years is Peyton Endershot. He's had some off-the-field issues, but he moves well from what I've seen over the years. Another tight end is Charlie Kolar. Has been very productive during his career at Iowa State, so I'm very interested to see what he does. Isaiah Likely, a lot of people have been talking about him from Coastal Carolina, and yeah, he's a guy that's going to rise boards. Of course, Trey McBride. Everybody's on to him. Nothing new there. Jeremy Ruckert from Ohio State. Ohio State don't use their tight ends much, so he doesn't have the production. But high-end recruit coming out of high school. Moves well for his size. Could be a riser. Will be a riser in the draft. He's going to get day 2 draft capital. He's going to get decent draft capital in this year's draft. Going to be considered one of the top tight ends. Jalen Wittermeier. Don't forget about him. Was considered one of the top Devy tight ends in this class going into this season, so don't sleep on him. He's still alive. But that's it for what we're going to cover on here. Rest of its defense, rest of its special teams, rest of its offensive line. That ain't going to score us any fantasy points, so we're going to stop it right here. Let me know in the comments who you're most excited about seeing at the Combine. What's the event that you're most excited for at the Combine? Let me know. Hit that like button. Shoot this video up on the algorithm. But I want to thank you for watching the show, sticking with me. Make sure you hit that subscribe button on the way out. Fuels me to keep putting out this content. Fuels me to keep grinding the metrics. Fuels me to keep giving you the information, getting you ready for your rookie drafts. Again, I want to thank you, and I'll catch you next time.